Okay, I'm here with Trent. It's James. We're talking about post-Rapture lung breathing and Trent's background with having asthma and asthma things. All right, go ahead.
So, I was first diagnosed with asthma.
Yeah.
I was first diagnosed with asthma when, watch out.
Yeah.
When I was born. It was within the first, month or so. I was actually hooked up to a breathing tube because my lungs would just stop working. And then it just progressively got worse as I got older. I stopped being able to do sports. I stopped being able to ski correctly. And then when I turned into a teenager, it got a little bit less. But whenever I did have an asthma attack, I would literally stop breathing for minutes. And then my last asthma attack was a week before I did my video. I stopped breathing for 5 minutes. And after that video, I have not had a single asthma attack.
Now, tell me about, because we were just talking a second ago, I did several videos because I didn't get all my shit out at the beginning. And I didn't notice I could breathe again until that final video. I wasn't, well, we'll come back to that, but for you, you said 12 hours
12
working
hours,
on it?
yeah.
Tell us about that.
It was just 12 hours of self-introspection.
Work here.
Yeah. I sat there and I smoked a shit ton of pot and I just sat about all of the nasty, incredibly disgusting things I've done in my life. And, it's kind of easy to point out your sins when you've thought about it for a while.
And then, so did you, hold on, what was I going to say? Oh, were you expecting to no longer have asthma attacks? Were you going into the video and your list with that expectation at all?
Not at all.
You didn't think about it at all?
No.
I didn't think about my lungs at all either until I noticed it. When did you first realize it? Was when I texted you and asked you? Or had you realized it before?
I had kind of realized it before. It was at least a month or so after I did the video, because we were in New Mexico. And normally when I go there, I have terrible allergies and terrible asthma. But, oh, that's the wrong thing.
I gotcha. Yeah, man.
And so when we were there and I didn't have an asthma attack, I was like, okay, something is different. And I started pushing myself more. I would go out for more longboard rides and just do more active stuff, and I never had an asthma attack.
Wow.
And that was unheard of for me for
Your whole life?
Yeah.
And then, so did you go through an inhaler every 6 months usually, or did you go through it every
3 months?
Every 2 months you went through an inhaler.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how much an inhaler costs?
Mine costs $350.
Okay, so net benefit, and this, I've done a lot of research on placebo effects.
Yeah.
And if you get a pill that actually has medicine in it, and I get a pill that's a sugar pill, but we both expect to get better,
yeah.
Placebo effect says the stronger the authority, a pill looks real authoritative, I take it, and then my mind, it just triggers this sort of mental correction or whatever.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, I think what really proves the existence of God is that we didn't expect to have that benefit. It just happened.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
In a way, it could be considered a placebo effect, but...
Or is the placebo effect a watered-down version of...
A watered-down version
of God,
that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever, it's our frame of mind. Now tell me this. In your frame of mind, your version of reality, when you look out, at the world,
yeah.
What role does God actively play in your day-to-day, seeing the stop sign and seeing it? Is there a role in your mind? Is there an authority that's overseeing you as a person?
No.
No?
No.
For me, I have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have his he can read my thoughts, and then he can see anything I do, and that's how I view it. But for you, describe your sort of version of that? Or maybe you don't. I don't know.
It's more of he isn't taking an active role. It's more of just an overseer. It's like the manager that stands back and watches all the dudes doing construction.
Yeah. Okay.
He knows what we're going to do, and he knows the gist of it, but he only interferes when he needs to.
When he needs to. And then, does he, in your mind, would you say that you are submissive to your version of God?
No. I can't be.
What do you mean?
Um,
Because he's not that active?
he can be at certain times. It's just that even if he wanted me to be, I feel like he wouldn't want me to
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
be. Because remember that huge conversation that we had about humans' free will?
Yeah. But they don't know, so if you want to chime in what you're saying specifically about it.
It was him and I had this huge conversation of, do we actually have free will, or is it just God playing Sims?
Yeah.
And I've always been in the belief that we don't. And then after all of this, it's kind of becoming this very clear image of we do have free will, and that's why he gave it to us, is so that we could choose to follow him and follow in his footsteps.
And it gives him some shit to do too.
Yeah.
You know, because he's like, oh, I gotta correct it.
Yeah.
So what do you think it is? Is it the idea that God's active in your mind? Is that in your mind? What do you think? Like,
he's active in my soul.
In your soul. You just know he exists.
Yes. And that's enough.
You know he exists. You've admitted to any fucking bad shit you've done. Have you dropped any issues you've had with other people? I feel like they have to answer to their own shit. You know, so
98% of the issues that I have with other people.
That's good. And did the process of like the whole Rapture video, like, did that help you kind of drop some more percentages, percentage points, or was it like you were already working toward that?
I was already working towards that, but it helped definitely. And then, so y'all know, I got kicked out of my house recently, and the person that did that is the only person who I'm holding anything against right now. But the way that I'm doing it is I just dropped him out of my life.
I've noticed that I have to do that too. It's like certain people, they bring you away from.
You have to cut out the loose ends.
Yeah.
And it has to happen. Otherwise, they hold you down.
No matter if it's a placebo or not, that's a $350 net benefit per 2 months. That's $175 saved per month. Well, placebo or not.
And I know it wasn't a placebo because
you weren't expecting it.
When I did have my asthma attacks, during middle school, I actually had this huge machine.
You had one of those. My friend had one. He was young too.
And the person I was living with, she would notice when my breathing was off, because she was like a medical doctor of like 20 plus years, and she would hook me up to it, and instantly, like as soon as it started flowing through my lungs, I would actually be able to use all of them.
Yeah.
And even now, like I notice it's not 100% usage of my lungs, but everything that's there is perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah. That makes total sense. So like, if you went and they examined you, it would be like, yes, he has asthma, but what is, the surface area or whatever's being used, like if it's like a alveoli or sacs or whatever, is operating at maximum efficiency for what you need to do.
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't wear glasses, but my left eye, like I think I have 20/20 or whatever. My right eye's perfect, but my left eye is slightly less than perfect. And I'm like, well, if there's a God, I've repented for everything I've done. Why don't I have perfect vision? Because I don't need it.
Yeah.
And my function, and actually it's helpful to have just a slight bit of blur, because it helps me go to sleep, because I otherwise would just keep reading over and over again for hours and hours and hours,
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like Moses' whole thing was like his eyes and his strength never left him even when he was 120 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, cool. All right, well, thanks. That's great. It's fucking great, man. That's a net benefit right there. You think it was like the